All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Ag Disruptors webinar for August. We're sorry we weren't able to get this out in a live webinar, but you will be receiving this recording and you will have our contact info sent to you. If you have any questions, please reach out to myself or Travis Mitchell, who's joining me. My name is Matt Fischer. I'm on the Clemson Extension Agribusiness team. I'm the livestock and forage economist for the state of South Carolina and for Clemson Extension. Joining me today is Travis Mitchell. Travis serves on the livestock and forage team, and he will be discussing, based out of Saluda, covers many counties other than just Saluda County, but he'll be discussing load lot marketing and the value added and steps to maybe explore that marketing opportunity. So what I'm going to do today, kind of short and simple, I'm going to go through and give you a livestock forage market update. We've all seen the increase in retail prices, marketing prices for calves and other proteins that we grow. And we're going to look at some forages at the end. If you have any questions, again, my contact info will be provided below. So starting off, I'll give you a quick overview of what we'll discuss. We're going to talk about cattle, both beef and dairy, poultry, which will include turkeys, broilers, and eggs. Swine we'll touch on for a little bit, including pork, and then we'll wrap it up with just a little discussion on forages, namely hay production. We'll talk also throughout these, there'll be some national, some South Carolina, and some Southeast talks just mixed in between all this, showing you the more local picture versus the national picture versus the regional picture. It's just going to depend on the species we're discussing. So starting off, we're looking at cattle national inventory. We've been experiencing liquidation since about 2019. We're no big news there. I think I've spoken on this a number of times, part of the cattle cycle, and we're seeing it really brought on more by drought in the center section of the country, and then the high marketing prices and input prices that we're receiving. It's costing more to produce, but we're also getting a little more at the end of it too. So right now, as of January 2023, we're national, we're down 3%, gives us a total of 89.3 million head, and that's all total cattle and calves. On the South Carolina side, we're continuing to see this premium pricing. We're going to see it hopefully for the foreseeable future with inventories being low. We did see some expansion in the herd in South Carolina, contradictory to the national liquidation cycle. And I think we're going to see some of these pockets of small expansion continuing before we start seeing the ramp up back on the national inventory. Heifer slaughter and sales are still within that 35 to 36%, I believe, which is still high, which offers some limitation on knowing when we're going to start heifer retention. So on the beef standpoint, we're looking at the composite cutout here. These are USDA numbers. It's looking by date. So you can see it pretty much hits the first of the month and the middle of the month for each month. Red is 2019, yellow is 2020. 2021 is green, blue is 2022, and of course what we're important to look at right now is 2023. So right now in 2023, July 18th, we're right about $300 per hundredweight for the beef cutout. That's up 14.5% from 2022. And the important thing to note here is both our federally inspected beef is down 6.7% from this time last year, and our total beef production is down 7.1%. Some of that can be explained in availability of calves. We have seen placement still there, but we've got to have calves and we got to have animals for beef. At least we're seeing a cutout premium price as it stands right now. So dairy, just a quick note on dairy. We're looking for the April 28th report out of USDA. South Carolina milk production in South Carolina remained flat between 21 and 22. Relatively flat, I guess you could say, for the national average. We only increased by 0.1%. And it looks like the national production per cow on average is about 24,087 pounds in 2022. Move on to poultry. We got two things going on here. I want to talk about poultry. First, we'll talk about on the right-hand side with the narratives. Federally inspected young chickens are down 3% nationally from this time last year, while federally inspected turkey is up 10.9% from this time last year. So you're probably going to see a little more turkey in the grocery store. Would argue that you're probably going to see a little decrease in price on those turkeys at the retail counter, which is not bad coming into Thanksgiving. On the left hand, the graph here gives us an idea where South Carolina stands on its value of production for broilers. You can see 2022, we're about $1.5 billion in the value of production, above Florida. But obviously Georgia and Alabama are way ahead of us when it comes to value production in the Southeast region. Isn't it important to note, though, that we did gain $500 million in value of production from 21 to 22. So again, this is the South Carolina side for production. You know, we're speaking on the top here about the broiler production. This is as of last week. Egg sets are up 3% from this time last year for broiler production. However, chick placements down 9% from this time last year. Now, with egg sets up 3%, we could expect that 9% drop to be either less or maybe hit some positive here shortly. Layers and egg production. We all had that issue with the grocery stores and egg production not long ago. It's in the recent past, but still on everybody's mind. So our total egg production for South Carolina was up 2% from 22, and our total layers are down 5% from 2022. So hopefully we're going to see some increase. It does speak, though, that we've got less layers out there, but we're increasing our egg production. Swine. This is pretty much from a national standpoint. We're looking at the base slaughter hog price, and we're looking dollars per hundredweight. So 23, we're up to about $90 per hundredweight. That is a 13%, roughly a 13% decrease from last year, although we are still trending above the 17 to 21 average, which is good. And if you look at the cutout prices on the hogs, all the measurements there that they look at, they're losing ground on pricing, which is going to be a cheaper retail price. So this is, again, looking at the national level on population estimates. And if you look at, these are June 1 market hogs, which is already passed. If you look at the September and December offerings are expected, they're still showing the same trend. So we're going to be decreased from 2019, 2020. We've lost ground. We've relatively flattened out. USDA reports that, it's going to fall fractionally moving into 2024. You can see on this graph with 2022 and 2023 that it was relatively flat. So I would say fractionally, you're going to see a pretty much level plate there. Federally inspected pork is up 1.1% from this time last year, which means we're going to have a little more pork moving through the grocery store counters. I'm going to wrap up, being courteous to your time and keeping it succinct. We're going to talk forages lastly. And there's the reason I put this urea chart up here. These are South Carolina fertilizer prices surveyed across the state that USDA collects. So it's a nice measurement of where we were and where we're going. You can see the peak is February of last year when we all saw urea go through the roof. We've gained, I guess you could say, from the ability to see a better retail fertilizer price, for the urea being the number one element used in forage production. Looking around on some USDA reports, the closest I could find, or I look at to kind of give a price measurement on hay, is the Alabama report that comes out with USDA, and they're looking at medium brown Bermuda grass at $166 a ton. That doesn't mean much. I understand we don't market a lot of our forages or hay by the ton. So if you assume that a medium bale is a 4x5, 880-pound bale, do the math, and that comes out to about a $73 bale. I think there's 161 observations in that survey. So you're looking at 161 different prices that comes up with that $166 average. Of course, we all know that forages are dependent on as much on fertilizer and fertility as they are on weather. We can see here the U.S. Drought Monitor index. I just picked random dates, May 16th, which is going to be kind of our green up or Bermuda grass / back end fescue had already been done, harvest or in the middle of harvest, but already grown. We can see also here August 1, which is one of the more recent publications. We're seeing that we had some abnormally dry spots down towards the coast in May, and you're really trying to track through June and July. I looked at all the charts, and they would have some little pop-ups here and there. August 1, you can see here in the PD, or not the PD, the upstate, I'm sorry, that we're seeing some abnormally dry spots pop up. The big story too, though, back to the beginning of the conversation, I mentioned the center of the United States and the cattle liquidation from the national side. We can see that we really have extreme drought to exceptional drought to severe drought, all in those large cattle producing states. So we have calves here in South Carolina, and I think there's a lot of honesty in saying that's why we're seeing some premium pricing. Those feedlots still have to have, and we've maintained a pretty decent demand on beef, even through the past 6 months. So with that, here's my contact info and such. So I'm going to turn it over to Travis and let him talk to you a little bit about cattle marketing.
Pleasure to be on with you today. As Matt has pointed out, we're seeing really good times in the cattle industry right now. But of course, we're also looking at high input cost and prices. So it's a great time to talk about value-added opportunities and ways that we can just add more premiums and add more value to our calf crop. I work with so many producers across the state of South Carolina that think that just because they can't make their own tractor trailer load, that there's no value added opportunities out there for them. And that's just a misconception that is not true. The majority of South Carolina cattle producers are small herds that obviously don't have enough cattle to make their own loads of steers and heifers. And that's why we target some other ways and opportunities that we can still tap into some of these value added markets. So where I'll start is the first place that you need to know is, what is your end goal? What am I looking at doing? So if you are a producer who is not castrating, is selling one at the time at the local sale barn, doesn't have a controlled breeding season, or no vaccination protocol, then those are some easy places that we can start in adding value to your cow herd. So anytime that we can do things to uniform up our group of calves, the better we are. So a controlled breeding season means that you're going to have your calf crop ready to market all at one time. Groups of calves sell better than singles. A vaccination protocol, vaccinating those calves at 3 to 4 months of age, and then again right before weaning, will certainly add value to those calves, and those premiums are recognized at your local sales barn. And then we move into weaning. When we get into weaning calves, that of course takes us into a whole nother slate of opportunity, because now we have the opportunity to also precondition them. So those are just some places to start, and those end goals need to be that I'm going to do these things while the calf is on the cow to add value at weaning. Now, when we move past weaning, that's when we can get into a lot of other value-added markets. If you're able and capable of weaning your calves for a minimum of 45 to 60 days, you can really move into some opportunities where you could group up or pair up with co-ops, a couple neighbors, and make uniform tractor trailer loads where we really see value-added markets captured. Right now, we're looking at 30 to 40 cent premiums on a lot of these value-added loads versus you're selling one at the time. So value-added markets and programs consist of a lot of things. They can be your conventional cattle. that are just uniform, grouped up, and sold as tractor trailer loads, or we can get into a lot of niche marketing opportunities. One big thing right now is marketing cattle by all natural means, and there's a lot of verification processes that can go with that. Work with producers to make sure that they get those verification boxes checked, and that can be a lot. But the big thing here is that I don't want that to overwhelm anyone that's wanting to get in it or get started. The first thing is just identifying that end goal, set your goal, and know where you want that final marketplace to be for your animal. So again, great places to start: control breeding season, using sound genetics, a good vaccination protocol. And then, of course, once we've established those things, then we can start talking about weaning and preconditioning your calves. And it's just a stepping stone process. I've never seen a producer go from one extreme where they're doing no value added practices all the way to a fully value added program in 1 year. It's typically a stepping stone process, and that's okay, because whatever you're doing from year in and year out that's adding value to that calf crop is essentially putting more money and more profit into your pocket. Be glad to talk to anyone about it that has questions or concerns. You're welcome to get with me, get with Matt, any of your local extension agents, and we can give you other ideas and help you get started on an individual basis with adding value to your calf crop.
Thank you, Travis. And like Travis said, we'll have his contact info attached to the email with this recording. That being said, we appreciate your time. I hope you all have a great day, evening, morning, whatever time you're watching this, and reach out to us if we can be any help to you. Thank you.